Cloak and Dagger, Marvel's Cloak and Dagger, starring Olivia Holt as Tandy or Dagger, and Aubrey Joseph as Tyrone slash Cloak. This story is different from the original books. It doesn't have the same exact story, but it's got a similar feel to it. There's more story than there is action, as opposed to Netflix or the movies, where you take a Marvel book and you doing as much action as there is story. This one seems to be a lot more story. They're building a nice arc with these two about where they started out as, how they get to know each other, how they get their powers, the whole 9 yards. So that seems like a good way to do it, I think, at least for this particular group. It's they're doing less with the special effects. There's not as much with the special effects as you would find in, say, Black Lightning. The Black Lightning has got, she's got lightning and stuff all over the place. These guys have toned it down. You know there's something happening with them, but it's not the main part of the story. It's almost actually like a drama, as opposed to an action story. Like I say, it's good so far, at least for the first 2 episodes. Roxxon Corp is in here, which is an evil corporation from the Marvel Universe. That's also in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That is also in the Netflix universe. So I'm wondering, is that corporation tying all of them together? Could you possibly see people from Marvel movies, or, you know, Marvel TV show like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or, you know, Netflix? Could they start mixing together because it seems like they're in the same universe? Maybe. That would be cool. These guys are originally from the Spider-Man universe. They originally started out in his book, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, number 64. Excuse my Spider-Man comic book geek stuff coming out, but there it is. The story is about, it shows how Tandy, Dagger, started out, you know, wealthy, and they were doing well, and it seems that most of the money came from her father, who suffers a tragedy and leaves Tandy and her mother to fend for themselves. They don't do as well without him, so they go from riches to rags. On the other hand, you've got Tyrone, who, it seems like they struggled as a family at first. To give a little bit of backstory on him too, it seems like they struggled as a family at first, but eventually, because of his mother primarily, they get risen up, and they're in, like, you know, the highfalutin schools, and they've got a little bit of money, you know, with them. So it changes. You know, the Tandy, Dagger started off well and went down. Tyrone started off bad and has risen up. And they meet because Tandy tries to steal his wallet. But it turns out that they met years before, when they got their powers as children. As children, there's an accident, and both of them are in the same vicinity. They receive their superpowers. They don't know they've got superpowers. They go through their whole life not able to tap into the power, so they don't know that they've got it. Later, they meet as teens, and they touch. They realize something's going on. She realizes she's got a little something happening. He realizes he's got a little something happening. You know, when they touch, they're like Urkel. They're like, bam, did I do that? And yes, you do that. So I'm trying to say this without giving away too much of the show, but they both get put in situations where there's a raised level of adrenaline, and they have to draw on some inner strength. For us, like just adrenaline, we would run faster or jump higher or whatever. With that adrenaline rush, with them, it activated their powers. So for each one of them, separated from each other, doing different things, something happens to them that causes them to realize they've got power, which causes them to try to figure out how to control it and how to re-trigger it. That's essentially where the first 2 episodes put you. It gives you a little bit of backstory, tells you how they got their ability. It lets them meet one another, only briefly at first, and then it reveals that they've got abilities and they want to tap into them. That's essentially where it's at. It's a soft origin story so far. It hasn't gotten deep into anything, but at this rate, I'm interested. I'm intrigued. They pulled me in. I'd like to know more. Cloak and Dagger are of course, a Marvel comic book couple. Their powers are essentially opposite. He's got powers that are darkness. He can disappear. He can teleport. He can become intangible, meaning things can travel through his physical form without actually harming him. And he has this gigantic cloak. Of course, he's Cloak. He's got this gigantic cloak that he can surround people and absorb basically their life essence. He calls it the light. And he can teleport them too if he wanted to. So he could take you in the cloak and like teleport you above a river and drop you into the ocean or whatever. Her powers are light based, meaning she can flashlight the room up, or she can make these light daggers, which are either energy based. She can hit you with it like a blast of energy, or she can make them hard, and she can stab you with them, throw them at you, cut stuff, break stuff, whatever. She can do things like that. Also, at least in the books, he has a hunger for light. She is light, so she feeds him with her powers. It gets her so she doesn't explode because she overloads with her powers, and it's good for him because he needs the light to survive. So they're drawn to each other, and once they're there, they're stuck together essentially. So that's what the comic book, and that's what the movie, the TV show basically is about. They're bouncing off of each other, and I think it's going to be good. I got an idea that it's going to be good. I'm hoping it's going to be good. I got to wait a week for the next episode, but you can wait with me. We'll watch it together. But again, that's what I think about this. I think it's good. In fact, I'm going to give it 7 bags of popcorn. 7. What do you think about it? Let's talk about it in the comments. What's your favorite TV comic book adaptation? Let's talk about it. And if you like the video and you like the content, subscribe and like.
Popcorn passport. Get your